Well, good evening, everyone. It's really great to be here, and it's great to see all these smiling faces. What a great crowd, and you all look so happy and upbeat, which really makes me feel a lot better to know that I must not be the only one who stopped checking his 401k. But in any event, it is great to be joining you, and a big welcome to all of our guests. I especially want to say a welcome to the many hardworking government officials who have joined us tonight. You know, tonight's a chance for the WITA member companies to honor some very distinguished people in the trade world, but it's also a night for us to recognize the many hundreds of dedicated government officials who serve the trade community, who labor very often in relative obscurity, don't get the recognition they always deserve, although WITA does a great job with the Lighthouse Award of giving that kind of recognition. So, you know, there's too many people from that government sector here for me to recognize them all. I wish I could mention them, but there obviously isn't time. Just picking one example at random, I know there's a lot of people here from the from USTR and some folks from the WTO affairs team who worked hard on the 12th Ministerial Conference, and I'd like to thank them for their dedication and persistence in getting a good result. I want to ensure them that all the food products on the menu tonight, the food is really special, but it's not differential, so you can go ahead and enjoy it. And since this is my first time up here tonight, I know I've got Ambassador White waiting in the wings, so I don't want to take too much time. But I would like to join Ken and Steve in thanking all of our sponsors. A special thanks to my colleagues at the McClarty Associates table. The head of our trade practice, Kelly Myman, also known as the Perpetual Motion Machine, and our great Vice Chair, Nelson Cunningham. I want to thank them for taking me in off the street and giving me productive work. And so a big shout out to all of our colleagues. I should mention, you know, feel free to tweet about tonight's dinner. I know a lot of you are active users of Twitter, and so feel free to send out some tweets about what's going on. And I think that's an important way to give visibility to this event. And Ken, Twitter didn't get a table tonight, did they? No, you know, I guess they might be licking their wounds a bit about their breakup with Elon Musk, and I don't really know what that's all about. It's like they broke up before they ever even got together. So what's going on there? Like a lot of my college romances. But in any event, I'm now going to turn to another good friend in the trade community, and somebody who recently traded the relative security and happiness of working in the Senate Finance Committee for putting himself straight in the hot seat of the role of Deputy USTR. And what a great job he's doing and the other deputies are doing. So would you join me in welcoming, to make the introduction of Sabine Weyand, Ambassador Jayme White.
Well, thank you, Rufus. You've been a mentor of mine for many years, and I've enjoyed the guidance you've given me for a long time. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight, and great to see so many faces. I haven't seen many of you in about 3 years. And one of the differences you might notice is that I now have reading glasses, and maybe that's because I haven't seen you. I've been to many of these events. I'm an annual trade nerd, pre-pandemic, and so this event is always the highlight of the summer for a trade person. Ambassador Tai and our teams are working hard to fulfill the Biden-Harris administration's goal of creating durable trade policy by working with our closest allies. That means the EU and others. As part of my portfolio, I'm lucky to work directly with the EU, one of our most important trading partners, and I'm proud to say the Biden-Harris administration has made great strides to improve the transatlantic trade relationship. For example, we made progress on civil aircraft, on DST, on steel, aluminum, so we can focus our attention on other pressing issues that affect our people and communities. And the results of those resolutions of trade irritants is not just resolving trade irritants. It resulted in opening up markets. Our markets are more open to each other today than they have been in years as a result of those negotiations and those outcomes. The US and the EU share a set of common values, and we must work together to defend them against those actors who seek to undermine them. Last year, we launched the US-EU Trade and Technology Council, the TTC. During our most recent ministerial meeting, we discussed how to jointly address challenges posed by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and advanced our shared concerns about the long-term threat China's policies pose to our competitiveness. We are working with the EU on the global arrangement on sustainable steel and aluminum, where we're using trade policy to confront the threats of climate change and China's massive non-market excess capacity. As you can see, we have a busy and ambitious agenda that will only ramp up in the weeks and months ahead, whether it's IPEF or enforcement of USMCA or other initiatives in Central America. We are trying to focus our ambition and produce results for workers, businesses, and communities. Now I'm excited to introduce my EU counterpart, my TTC partner in crime, Sabine Weyand. She's been a Director General for DG Trade since 2019. She's played a big role in negotiations. I've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with her. I will say that she is as delightful as she is tenacious. Our conversations are always productive and pleasant until our favorite topic of apples and pears come up. But we can save that debate for the after party. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Sabine, and I'd like to welcome her to Trade Prom, and I hope everybody gives her a nice warm welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Jayme. I can assure you this is the nicest he's ever been to me, and I don't expect this to continue much longer. But, well, good evening, everyone, and I am really very, very honored to be here. I'm also very nervous because this is the first prom of my life. As a European, I've never met those, except in American high school dramas or comedies. So thank you very much, WITA, for the promposal and for having me as one of the rare foreign speakers at your annual dinner. It is very good to be back in person in Washington, and it is even better to be able to see many people I only know as a tile on a Zoom screen in person, and I'm very happy to see you're actually real-life people. I'm even happier to hear this evening more positive remarks about trade than I've become used to. So, you know, this is very refreshing to hear this enthusiasm about trade. I am particularly happy to be back in Washington after quite a while. My last trip here was 3 years ago, before the pandemic struck. And it is very good to be welcomed back here in Washington, no longer as a US problem, as used to be the case, but now actually as a trusted partner and indeed a partner of first resort. So, I wanted to thank my US colleagues, and Jayme in particular, tonight for meeting us halfway in dealing with our differences and focusing on common critical challenges. Here in the heart of the Washington trade community, I risk preaching to the choir on many issues, even if I appreciate there are probably different choirs even in this audience. We have an opportunity, an obligation even, to rethink trade to make sure it is a strong enabling policy that helps us address key global challenges. In doing so, we also need to recommit to maintaining the critical benefits of trade openness, internationally agreed rules, and economic integration. As an EU official, I even do not shy away from talking about the importance of market access and free trade agreements. We cannot deny that trade policy has been politicized. There has been a lot of trade politics in trade policy on both sides of the Atlantic. Lately, we are seeing trade also being geopoliticized. For us Europeans, the Russian aggression in Ukraine is not just a critical matter, it is existential. But we are also seeing trade play a role in the solution. Trade is part of the wider toolbox we deploy to deal with this aggression, including sanctions and export controls. Trade relationships, like any relationship, require trust. It is heartening to see how steadfast and significant our cooperation has been in the face of this latest crisis. In the same vein, I expect trade and economic integration should be part of the reconstruction of Ukraine, especially as we hope to see it move closer to become a formal member of the EU family. But we are not only deploying... I wait for your applause on that one. But we are not only deploying trade tools to deal with this crisis, we are also expanding our toolbox as we prepare ourselves for the future. Reciprocity, sustainability, and security have been three key drivers of our work. I am pleased to report that we are making good progress with instruments that target foreign subsidies, or more recently, with a proposal to deal more effectively with the coercive behavior of countries that weaponize trade. Trade policy starts at home, after all. While we do our own homework, which I believe is also a key feature of this administration's trade policy, cooperation with allies is and remains critical. The EU and the US have created the Trade and Technology Council as an important new forum to come together, not just on trade and technology, but on the nexus of these policies with security and our values. I came to Washington this week to advance this work with our friends at USTR, the Department of Commerce and State, as well as with many stakeholders also represented here tonight. Cooperation also means that we learn from each other. I don't want to dwell on any planetary comparisons between the EU or the US, saying one is from Venus and the other is from Mars, but we sometimes do look differently at different challenges, and we differ in the solutions on how to address them. The EU tends to be more interested in new rules, where our US friends have focused more on new tools. The answer, as you may suspect, is of course that you need a combination of both. Tools, rules, and also friends. Dear friends, I look forward to engaging further on the future of trade and our transatlantic cooperation, and I celebrate the community WITA has created and brought together tonight. But most of all, I look forward to hearing who will be crowned as WITA prom kings and queens. I'm looking forward to the dance. Don't disappoint me. Thank you very much.